Hi everyone, this is Michael. I'm gonna be doing another arena draft tutorial. Since I already covered the paladin and mage, at least one run of each, so I'll be playing a shaman. It's an honest disclosure, I actually really don't like the shaman hero. It's a good, it's probably just my preference. Okay, I think it has a very steep learning curve. Okay, it takes quite some time to master the guy. Once you master him, there are some cards, especially with the overload ability, that often feel overpowered. Okay, if you flood the board with totems, then you usually win. There's all kinds of little kinks that it takes a while to learn, but once you learn them, a really skilled shaman player can be very good. Unfortunately, I'm not that skilled yet. Okay, I'm working on it. But if you don't try, you'll never learn. So I'll play the shaman anyway. Anyway, right off the bat, we have a relatively weak rare pack. The Corsair is really useless in arena and actually in general. The Master Swordsmith, I always hope that he has great potential. Yeah, it can buff up your totems that you don't mind trading with other guys' minions. It can, sometimes it can really be a persistent combat trick. But in other times it's absolutely useless. It's a 1/3 for 2. So yeah, right now I won't take it. I'm not sure what my deck will look like. Now the Monotai Totem is an interesting card, and I will pick it here. Note that it replaces itself, right? The turn you play it, it draws a card. And it effectively has taunt, because no one, unless you're gonna die the next turn, no one will let it live longer. It's free card advantage for you. The downside is that you don't want to play it on turn 3 probably, while you're racing for tempo advantage. You don't want to play it when you're behind. Well, you probably do, because it will just replace itself, and you hope to draw some mass removal. Yeah. So again, as I said, another tricky card. You have to it feels in a sense a win more card. Yeah, if you're ahead, it will push you over the top. Yeah, if you have a big taunt guy, you're gonna win. If you're behind, then it's just a 3 mana spell that replaces itself. So I don't know. See, shaman, tough choices. Okay, moving on a little bit faster. Easy pick. The Footman is perhaps one of the worst cards in the game. The Dragonhawk is, might be useful in a constructed deck or something, but definitely not right now. I have nothing to buff it with. I'm not an aggro player, so why should I take it? The Acolyte Pain is quite decent. It's almost impossible to get rid of him without me drawing a card, and sometimes it generates card advantage, which is nice. Okay. Going next, the Bluegill Warrior is actually better than I initially thought. It's decent. I would say it's average quality, but the Rockbiter weapon is amazing. Compare it to Claw from the Druid cards. It's just better. I really don't care about the 2 armor that the Druid gets. It can buff a character maybe with Wind Fury or something, or another trick. It does more damage even if you play it on yourself. No brainer. Rockbiter. Wow. Yeah, the Raider sucks, of course. Yeah, compare it to, for example, the guy with the stealth, right? I forgot its name. The Wolf, the Infiltrator. Yeah. The Infiltrator at least lives through, random hero powers that deal 1 damage. Yeah. Anyway, this is well, it's kind of an easy pick, but I'll talk about Bloodlust anyway. The Fire Mantle is amazing. Okay, it has very decent stats for 6 mana, and it's almost always card advantage. Okay, removal spell, which is amazing. Now, the Bloodlust is another interesting card. It might steal you the victory sometimes if you have a couple of totems in game and, you know, another random creature, you can wipe the other guy's board. But the problem is that all of these scenarios are, you know, assumes that you have minions on board. I noticed, well, at least when I play against Shaman guys, I really try not to let them get, you know, their number of totems get out of hand. So Bloodlust can sometimes be kind of a dead card in your hand. Yeah. You end up wishing that if only I had minions and board control, I could have won, but too bad. So Fire Mantle it is, easy pick. Moving on, I'm gonna take the Magma Rager is very bad. The Brewmaster is very solid. It's a decent 4th drop if it doesn't bounce anything useful to hand, and it sometimes can be a very nice trick with, I know, comes into play, Battle Cry's ability, or just guys that are wounded and you want to replay them as healthy. Brewmaster it is. Okay, more complicated cards. I actually like the Unbound Elemental. I think that for 3 mana, 2/4 is better than most people expect. Yeah, it's the perfect, you know, follow-up for your opponent's 3/2. And sometimes it can be very useful. Okay, if you get to play an Overlord card the next turn, it becomes very cost efficient. The Flame Tongue Totem is again, I mean, sometimes it can be exactly the thing you want. Yeah, it's quite useful anyway. But you need minions. You need to have, you know, a lot of combat going on. So it's more situational. Yeah, on its own, obviously, it doesn't do anything. So once again, tough question. I'm gonna go with a safer pick of the Unbound Elemental, though, you know, each card has its own advantages. Okay, moving on. The Iron Beak Owl is actually not bad. I really don't like the Ancestral Healing. Yeah, I mean, it costs 0, yeah, I get it. But unless you have magically created a pretty wounded but pretty big guy to heal, then it's really not worth it. Okay, I mean, come on guys. I need better cards. Yeah. But fortunately I have Forked Lightning, which is very good for 1 mana. Careful with the Overload, okay? 2 Overload is quite important, okay? It can really screw up your next turn, so, you know, always when you're playing Shaman, keep in mind, always plan a turn ahead at least. Actually, well, you know, doesn't matter what you're playing, plan turn ahead. Yeah, so I'm taking the Lightning. Besides, we have an Elemental, which is nice with the Overload. Okay, the Frost Elemental is actually pretty good, but I'm gonna take one of these because, you know, I have no 2-drops and I'm not that happy with summoning a Totem as my second turn game plan. Here, unlike the Flame Tongue Totem, I feel that the, you know, Direwolf Alpha is more solid. I mean, it does something on its own. It's not that trivial, you know, to get rid of it. I don't know, but I think I'm gonna go with a Fairy Dragon. Very solid. Its ability can be sometimes very annoying against mages, for example. They really hate the guy. Yeah, so I'm gonna take the dragon. Wow. Okay. A tough choice. I really like the Juggler in any deck, especially in a deck that, you know, your hero power summons creatures. Yeah, so now they deal random damage, which is amazing. But the Twilight Drake is very powerful. Once again, tough choice. I'm gonna go with the... Wow. I'm gonna go with the Drake because usually my playstyle is very controlish. Okay, I don't like going aggro to the opponent's head. I usually try to take control of the board, and Twilight Drake plays exactly into that strategy, especially since I'm incredibly lucky and got another juggler. I didn't talk about the other cards. Both are very decent, especially the Imp Master. I really like her. It can generate card advantage in all kinds of subtle ways. But anyway, moving on. Lightning Bolt is the obvious pick here. The Squire is actually not bad, but really, I mean, Lightning Bolt. Besides, it's a copy of a magic card named Lightning Bolt, which costs 1 mana. But doesn't matter. It works well with our Unbound Elemental as well. Okay, moving on. Magma Ranger is awful. Core Hound is really, really not good enough for 7 mana. And we're lacking in decent 2-drops, so I'll take the Crocolist, which is decent. I like it. Wow. The Moormaster is pretty good, but he's really not in the league of these guys. Both are very strong. The Axe is an earlier drop, but I feel that the Fire Mantle has more potential, so I'm gonna go with the Fire Elemental. Wow, I'm gonna go with the third Fire Elemental. Okay, it's the kind of cards that you just, I mean, unless you have like 5, and you never have enough. Okay, it doesn't cost 9 or something. Yeah, it costs 6. 6 is expensive, but it's not a million. And it's simply always good whenever you draw it. Okay, almost always. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Elemental, though the Rock Biter weapon is very tasty. I'll take the Elemental anyway. Okay, moving on. The Forked Lightning, why I like it? Because, well, on paper, yeah, technically, it's mass removal, which is amazing. Not only technically, it's cheap. Okay, it gets you tempo advantage. You can really swing the tempo of a game, like on turn 3 or 4. You play a guy, and the Forked Lightning that wipes, you know, both of his guys, and you probably, you know, won the game right there. Besides, now I don't know, I'm less worried about 2-drops. I have 3 nice 2-drops. I'll get more later. And the Totem, yeah, I will still take the removal. I feel much safer with the removal. In general, spells are usually safer than creatures. I mean, creatures create board control, but if you're behind, it's pretty hard to get back into the game using only creatures, unless they have taunt, or I don't know, they're really, really good. Yeah. Okay, this time I'll go for the Hex. It's a very solid removal spell, as you see. It deals with really big guys that I can't kill with Lightning Bolt or Forked Lightning. So Hex it is. Interesting question. The Wind Fury, I always change my mind. Sometimes, like as most Shaman cards, sometimes it's very strong and sometimes it's kind of useless. Okay, sometimes it can be like, you know, you win the game because you have a really big guy that suddenly attacks twice. Sometimes it sits dead in your hand while you're losing board position. So right now I don't feel confident enough that I have something to play Wind Fury on, except for, you know, the Elemental, but I know it's good enough without the Wind Fury as is. I'll go with the Berserker because I have no 5-drops, and I don't know, it's potentially pretty strong. Berserker. Okay, this is a weird pack. Dust Devil really sucks. I mean, it theoretically hits for 6, but it never survives like more than, I don't know, a turn or 2. And, I don't know. And then you're missing your second turn, right? You have no mana on your second turn. Bad idea. Anyway, this is a kind of a dilemma, but I'll go with the Wolf Rider simply because it's cheaper. And it's kind of a spell. Yeah, you can think about it, you know, like 3 mana, 3 damage. Yeah, Wolf Rider it is. Wow! Good thing we didn't take the Lord of the Arena, otherwise we would be stuck with like 15 6 mana cards. Fire Elemental it is. Great, okay, Azure Drake. No brainer. Alarmabot, I don't know, I really hate this guy. I mean, I tried playing him a couple of times and I don't know, either he just, you know, gets dead, yeah, people hit him, or it, I don't know, it pulls the wrong cards. I don't know, I really don't like the guy. The Assassin is quite solid, yeah, I really like it. I really underestimated the stealth on big guys, but the Tiger convinced me otherwise. But here we really have no dilemma because we are lacking in a 5-drop. Zodrake is amazing, it replaces itself. We have tons of stuff to do with the spell damage. Yeah, we have some spells that do damage. Zodrake it is. No idea. The champion is very strong, especially considering the fact that we have totems. And though both of them are, you know, decent minus, I'm gonna go with a champion that can sometimes just win the game, even though we're kind of beginning to be top heavy. Okay, going with the removal. I really like removal spells. Yeah, that sucks. The best card is obviously the Frost Elemental, but I don't like it that we have 5, 6 drops. The Shield Bearer, in general, it sucks. Actually, there was one deck, a Warlock deck, that it really helped me, just as it helps in constructed Warlock decks. It just, you know, it messes with your opponent's ability to kill off your guys. You know, all of your guys are small and multiple, so if your opponent has to deal with a really cheap 4 toughness guy first before he can, you know, attack your creatures, then it messes him up. But this is not the deck that's gonna allow it. I'm gonna go, I don't know, I'm gonna go with the Berserker, even though I'm not very happy about it. It's not a priest deck, yeah, Berserker is not that amazing, I have nothing that can heal him. Well, anyway, Berserker it is. 3rd Hex, no dilemmas. Wow. Okay. First off, the Mind Control tech is actually pretty good. 3/3 for 3 mana is okay, and his Battle Cry can sometimes be really annoying, yeah, for your opponent. But this is not the pack that I'm gonna pick it. The Lava Burst is pretty good. It's a removal spell. I actually would rather pay, I don't know, 2 mana more and not to get the Overload. Well, 1 mana more and not getting the Overload. But it really doesn't matter because I have, once again, Mass Removal spell in the form of Lightning Storm. It's simply too good to pass up. Okay, it's, you know, it's a small lightning, it's a small firestorm, flame wave, excuse me, flame wave. Yeah. Okay, moving on. No brainer once again. The Wind Speaker, it's both a 4-drop, which we lack. Besides, it gives Wind Fury, and we passed up on Wind Fury a couple of times before. And as I said earlier, it can really swing games. Okay, if you give, you know, a big guy Wind Fury, you can randomly win, especially with the Berserker, for example. Yeah, I mean, first time it hits, it kills, you know, some 1/1, and then it's really big. And then you can kill something much bigger, and it's a, you know, surprising move. Okay, Lightning Bolt as another removal spell. You got to be kidding me. Please make me not suck with this deck. This deck is so strong. Wow. What will I do? Hmm. Like, this is ridiculous. I have 3 hexes and 4 fire elementals. I'm gonna go with the fire elemental, and I'm gonna play in a really controlish way. Okay, I'm just gonna kill whatever he plays until I ramp up to 5, 6, 7 mana. And I'm gonna play fire elementals turn after turn until he's dead. Okay, great, and the Stormforged Axe plays well into this strategy, unlike the Worgen, which is very solid. As you see, we don't really have, 3 drops that we can actually play on the turn 3. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we have a lot, but 3 of that is Hex, another one is Lightning Storm, Mana Tide Totem, none of which I really want to play on turn 3. Anyway, Axe it is. Woohoo! We got, wow! Fun! We actually got a legendary to boot with this amazing deck. Okay, since I rarely have the chance to talk about legendaries, I'll cover each one. Nozdrumu, basically, it's in vanilla 8/8 for 9 mana, which mostly just annoys your opponent. Okay, it makes them, have to play faster, and I don't know, if they disconnect, then they lose. I don't know, it feels like an annoying card, okay? Especially since I like playing slowly. Malygos, very strong constructed card. Actually, specifically in this deck, it might actually be quite useful. Yeah, we have 4, 5 cards that deal damage, spells. But, I mean, it costs 9 mana, I'm already top heavy, and I have Sylvanas in the pack, which is amazing. Okay, you can usually manipulate the board enough that whatever you take is worth it. It's a 5/5 for 6 mana, which is not bad. Okay, it has built-in card advantage, amazing card all around, and besides the fact that I have 5 billion 6 drops, I'm very happy with the pick. Guys, thank you for watching. I mean, on paper, this deck looks very strong. Every time I say something like that, I lose like a scrub. I think I don't have enough creatures, but I have totems and I have, really strong late game drops. So I hope it will work. Yeah, so that's it. That's my Shaman deck. Thanks for watching.